but it's hard to keep going. Sometimes it feels like you don't have a choice. There's no other option.
Right now on Denver 7 News at 8 o'clock on Local 3, our community reflects on the lives taken too soon at Club Q. This morning, new details about the suspect's prior run-ins with police, and we'll hear from the hero who stopped the attack. All the things going through his mind as he tackled and disarmed the shooter. His loved one was one of the victims. So good morning. As we continue to heal from this tragedy, I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. We have our team in Colorado Springs this morning. We will join them in a moment. First, taking a look outside. We're already seeing it warming up from some of the chillier temperatures this morning, Lisa, but changes are coming in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's going to be a minor system Wednesday into Thursday, but it could leave us with a little snow early Thanksgiving morning. Right now, though, it's just sunshine. We're in the 20s and low 30s, so as kids are heading out to school for potentially their last day before the holiday break, you'll find some, it looks like upper 20s, low 30s at the bus stop, getting to near 52, about 55 degrees in some neighborhoods by the time they get home. So it's another mild day today, close to 60 across parts of southeastern Colorado. More 40s again for the mountains, dry conditions in the high country, and lots of sunshine if you're heading up to go skiing or snowboarding. So even warmer today. We're tracking that cold front. It's going to be late Wednesday into Thursday, and light snow is possible. I'll show you the timing of that coming up here in just a few minutes, and where we could see potentially a little more snow than just a dusting by early Thursday morning.
Looking up at the foothills right now, I do have some slower traffic right at Lookout Mountain, and that's from a crash that's still being cleaned up right here. You can see it's off to the right side, so traffic can get by the left, but so many people want to go 90 miles an hour down from Genesee to Morrison that you have to slow down, and then you have to deal with the sunshine too. Take a look at the map here this morning down here around University, and from the camera here around University you can see some of that really slow traffic on that southbound side. So it's creeping from after Broadway all the way through here. It's the merge coming from University. They should have, when they built T-Rex, put a lane that goes across that bridge, and that would really alleviate a lot of this traffic jam. But they didn't, and this is what we're left with. And so they should have consulted me when we were building that project down years and years ago. You're looking at 25 minutes or so on that drive right now. 225 is busy, but I-70, 270, the north side of town, just moving along pretty standard as you make your way out and about.
Well, this morning we are learning more about the 5 people killed at Club Q Saturday night, and they are all much more than victims of a tragedy. They were people with lives full of hope and family and friends. For one, Kelly Loving's sister, Tiffany, said, "My sister was a good person. She was loving and caring and sweet. Everyone loved her. Kelly was a wonderful person. My condolences go out to the families who lost someone in this tragic event and to everyone struggling to be accepted in this world." Ashley Paul was a wife and mother of an 11-year-old girl. She also worked to help foster children and connect them with families across the state. Her husband said, "We can't even begin to understand what it will mean to not have her in our lives."
Raymond Vance was the youngest victim at just 22 years old. He had just gotten a new job and was excited to get his first paycheck, according to his family. They say Raymond was at Club Q with his girlfriend and her parents celebrating a birthday and had his whole life ahead of him. Daniel Aston worked as a bartender at Club Q. His mother said he was the baby of their family and he had found his community at Club Q after moving from Oklahoma to Colorado Springs. And Derek Rump was also a bartender at the club. Friends described him as well known and well liked, adding everyone loved him and he loved everybody.
No question the community has come together in the days after the event. It was standing room only last night at a remembrance ceremony at Real Works in Denver's Rhino neighborhood. The names of each of the victims was read aloud, and faith leaders led in song and shared messages of hope. We spoke to a former Club Q performer, Portia DeMarco Douglas, knew both bartenders, Daniel Aston and Derek Rump, who were killed. They said the evening was about grieving the lives lost, but also standing up to hatred and fear.
I want to get up, go to work, go home, loved ones, cook, clean, go out, dance. Point blank period. Simple. I want to live my life like everybody else.
There was extra security at the venue, including Denver police officers. Several Democratic leaders also attended, including Governor Polis, who shared a video message from home because he has COVID.
As the community remembers those who died, we're hearing from a man who survived the shooting against all odds. Denver 7's Brandon Richard is live in Colorado Springs. Brandon, he was shot 7 times. It is just incredible that he's alive today.
Yeah, Nicole, we're talking about Barrett Hudson, and he has a remarkable story to tell. He says that he thought he was going to die after he was shot several times, but now he's recovering in the hospital and sharing his story. And speaking from his hospital room, he said that Saturday night was the first time that he had ever gone to Club Q. He just recently moved to Colorado Springs. He says that he went with a friend to watch a drag show. He says they were only there for about 10 to 15 minutes before the shooting started. He says he saw the gunman holding an AR-15 style weapon. That's when he says his adrenaline just kicked in. He bolted out the back door, hopped over a fence, jumped off a ledge, and then ran down the street to a nearby 7-Eleven yelling for help. He says he knew he had been shot, he just didn't know how many times until the medics started counting.
Once they started counting out the bullet holes, and they got up, like, it was 7, but once they got up to 5, I called my dad, because I was like, I didn't think I was going to make it, and I wanted him to be the last person I talked to.
Now, he says that he does feel for those other victims who weren't able to make it out. He feels for them and their family. He says the thing that really kept him going was the fact that he knew that if he did not survive, that his parents would be getting a phone call from authorities letting them know that their son was dead. He says that was the absolute last thing he wanted to see happen. He's not sure how long he'll be in the hospital, but he says he is ready to get back home. Live in Colorado Springs this morning, Brandon Richard, Denver 7.
Thank you, Brandon. Right now, the suspect is being held on 10 preliminary charges, 5 for first-degree murder and 5 for committing a bias-motivated crime. A judge also granted a request from prosecutors to keep the suspect's arrest affidavit sealed and hidden from public view.
We're not going to try this case in the media. I want to make sure that we protect our ability to prosecute this case when we get it from the police agencies. And that's going to be the overriding interest that I have as the DA, being able to really bring those formal charges and bring that suspect in and hold him accountable if it's appropriate.
Formal charges from prosecutors are still to come, and right now no court date has been set for the suspect. He is still in the hospital.
And new this hour, the Washington Post has learned the suspect changed his name years ago, obscuring what the paper calls a troubled past. The Post reports that until the age of 15, Anderson Aldrich was known as Nicholas Brink, and he lived in San Antonio. That year, he was the target of severe online bullying, and months later, he petitioned a Texas judge for a name change. 6 years later, he's now in custody for one of the worst shootings in Colorado history.
Denver 7 Investigates got a hold of shocking video from more than a year ago showing the alleged shooter's involvement with prior run-ins with law enforcement. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta continues our team coverage this morning outside of police headquarters because this video, Veronica, shows perhaps a pattern of behavior well before Saturday's attack.
It does, and we want to just let everyone know that the video is a little hard to watch because of what the suspect is saying, what he's showing and doing in the video as well. So just a warning for everyone this morning. But in that Facebook Live that was done more than a year ago, you see that suspect, and that was just before deputies actually arrested him for allegedly making a bomb threat toward his own mom. So take a look at the video that we're talking about this morning. You see him in that tactical gear there. You also see all of those guns surrounding him. He is taunting police as well. It was recorded by the owner of that house. Her name is Leslie Bowman, and she actually also provided this separate video for us as well. This is Ring doorbell video of that suspect coming outside. You can see his hands are in the air. There's also a police vehicle right in front of him. Now, Bowman told us the suspect's mom actually rented a room from her in that home. The suspect lived not too far away with his grandparents and barricaded himself in that house after he and his mom got in an argument. Now, it's important to mention that at some point, the suspect and his mom did live at a different apartment complex. And our partners over at Newsy spoke with their former neighbor, who also considered himself a friend of the suspect. Listen to what he said he felt when he found out about the shooting and that his former friend was behind it.
makes me sick to my stomach. It breaks my heart to think that I could have been friends with somebody like that.
And going back to that arrest of more than a year ago now, El Paso County Sheriff, they did send out a press release about that incident, and there were some serious charges there. So we know that the suspect was facing 2 felony counts of menacing and 2 first-degree counts of kidnapping. We asked the DA about that yesterday. He said he couldn't talk about that specific case, but sources have told Denver 7 that the suspect's family chose not to continue with that investigation, you guys. We're in Colorado Springs. I'm Veronica Costa, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Veronica. And there are many ways you can help support the victims' families and survivors. The best way is through the Colorado Healing Fund. Go to coloradohealingfund.org and you'll find the campaign on the homepage. GoFundMe is also verifying fundraisers for individual victims and survivors. We have a list of those on denver7.com.
Well, this tragedy has caused significant emotional distress across the LGBTQ community. How the other gay bar in Colorado Springs hopes to be part of the healing process.
One of those human things that is about love.
And we have news from Broncos country, cutting a player who's fumbling his way off the roster.